folks. Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Tuesday and time to talk some Major League Baseball. Yesterday, I don't know how I profited on this card with my only play being the Houston Astros, but I will take it. Back in play tonight with a play of the day and also a value menu wager. Let's get it started here. Time to rock and roll. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. Of course, we're the Major League Baseball team right here at sportsbookreview.com. It's hot on the East Coast, Jason. How we feeling?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of disappointed about last night with those Diamondbacks. I'm not going to rant because we do have an entire card to get through, but it was terrible with Alex Young hitting in the 6th inning, tie game, bases loaded. Could have been Peralta up, and just a disaster of a game for the Diamondbacks. And honestly, if I ever take the Diamondbacks again, you guys can click that dislike button. You can unsubscribe. And you can leave the show forever because I guarantee you I will never be taking the Diamondbacks ever again.
That means you're taking them tonight, folks, so get ready. Yeah, Kyle, how you doing out there on the West Coast?
First of all, it's hotter than hell. I feel like I'm a kid making Nikes over in Southeast Asia, honest to God. That's what I feel like out here. But we're doing good. I had a great night last night. The only disappointment where the Reds couldn't pull it off in the first 5. You wouldn't know that by looking at the score. We got the Dodgers first 5, and we got the Reds team total. We got a couple home run props to hit. So all in all, a good day. I'm excited about today. I think there's some good spots today. I got a couple value plays. I got a play of the day. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. So let's get through it so I can get back into the air conditioning. Let's go.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how we check it out here and say, our value plays and what we go over. It used to be like, hey, man, look at these team totals are low. 3. He ain't finding these anymore. I had 7 games circled for today coming in with the average team total at 5.5 or higher at this point. It's amazing how Major League Baseball just checking the baseballs and making sure that the pitchers aren't cheating. And now you're looking at these balls absolutely flying out of the yard. Aces, no longer aces. Pitchers that have made it into Major League Baseball just by doctoring the baseball, they're getting sniffed out each and every night. We'll see if that continues tonight. But we got a lot to get over and go through. 86,800 people have hit that subscribe button for us right here at sportsbookreview.com. Thank you guys for all the love and support. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. Turn your notification bell on because when we go live and talk some Major League Baseball, you can come in and say hello. If you want to get on contests, you want to check out some articles, also some more video designed to make you a better Major League Baseball gambler, click the link below, sbrpicks.com/MLB. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it today. The Angels and the Yankees. How about this? How many times do we see this? You look at a game like Yankees are going to hit Bundy. No question about it. They get 2 runs before the 2nd inning is over, and Bundy throws up on the mound and leaves the game. And the offense absolutely just goes stagnant in that heat and humidity up in New York, which is amazing to watch that play out. But tonight, Heaney is on the mound, a much better pitcher from Dylan Bundy. We're looking at the Yankees. Hey, Yankees, let's wake up a little bit here. They're not waking up, Jason. Forget their team totals. Forget the heat and humidity. It's just one of those seasons where the Yankees don't have it. So don't waste your money on that team. As I say that tonight, another heavy favorite here. -150s, -155s across the board. 9.5s and 10s. It's interesting to see. I actually like Heaney better than I do Tyone. And it's crazy to look at the Yankees lineup who will stack right-handed bats, Jason. And I don't care. They can't hit. What gives tonight, Jason?
Well, Tyone, he's been awful against lefties, throughout the entire season as a right-handed pitcher. Weighted OBA near 400, ISO near 225. It's ugly for him against lefties, and obviously the big bats in the lineup for the Angels, Ohtani and Walsh. There's some power there. They can obviously hit some home runs and score some runs in this game. The Angels' offense obviously has been more consistent recently compared to the Yankees. So that's that. But Heaney had a weird outing in his last outing. 10 hits, 5 runs, 2 home runs. Also had 10 strikeouts and no walks against the Giants. He's not allowing 10 hits against the Yankees today. I can promise you that. But maybe he allows 3 runs. Again, this is the Yankees we're talking about, so who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if he allowed 3 runs in this game. But at the end of the day, I like the Angels more. Their lineup's better. But then I don't trust them towards the end of the game against the Yankees bullpen. So the Angels over 3.5 on the team total seems like the play here. I think they can get, at least 3 runs in the first 5 innings and then scratch out 1 more in the later half of the game. So if I had to choose, Angels over 3.5 on the team total at minus 160, paying up for the juice, because I don't want that 4 or 4.5 with the Yankees bullpen. I want, the least amount of runs possible against Taillon as possible. So I would just like the Angels over 3.5 on the team total and pay up for that juice at minus 160.
So funny how things change. I remember I believe it was like 2 years ago when DeGrom still wasn't signed to a contract yet, and there was, talk about the Yankees possibly trading for DeGrom, which would never happen. The Mets would never trade DeGrom over to the Yankees. But I remember the Yankees fans specifically, no way we're trading Gleyber Torres and Clint Frazier at this point. That's that's a non-starter. Even though DeGrom is good, no way we give up those two superstars. They are both trash cans in that lineup, and you can't even hide. Look at Gleyber Torres tonight, 7-hole hitter. Clint Frazier, 9-hole hitter. Barely hang up. You'd rather have Ronald Torreyes back than either one of those two guys right now if you're a Yankees fan. Kyle, taking a look at this game, 93 degrees at first pitch in the Bronx with the wind blowing out, and I want nothing to do with the Yankees. Amazing times here.
You're 100% right, and I thought the way you both analyzed that is absolutely spot on. There were 2+ money spots I was looking at today, and the Angels are one of them. Jason touched on it beautifully. You don't really want to mess with that Yankees bullpen. It's probably the best part of this team is their bullpen. Obviously, it's not this pathetic lineup that outside of the Mets might be the worst hitting team in baseball right now. Honest to God. I mean, that's just what we're looking at. So I'm looking at, if we're afraid of that bullpen, you're hoping they get that team total early. I'm looking at the Angels plus 120 on the money line in the first 5 innings. And you're right. If you just looked at I love to use big sample sizes. So I'm looking at these 3-year totals. The Yankees lineup has advantages across the board, but the fact is they're gone. They're done. You trust the Angels 2 hitters, 2 lefties, Walsh and Ohtani, more than you trust the entire Yankees lineup to put in runs. So if you're looking at a plus money play, I personally stayed away from this game. I'm just tired of betting Yankees games, period, unless I'm doing an over 1 team total in the 7th inning. So if you're looking to play on this one, I think there's value here. Angels plus 120 on the money line in the first 5 innings. And if you want to sprinkle that Ohtani home run prop again, he could certainly do it again tonight. Those would be the 2 ways that I would go, not touching anything having to do with the Yankees and certainly not going to do a full game because of that bullpen. Angels plus 120 in the first 5 innings.
Yeah, I might have to do Yankees fan a lot more often now because my one shtick seems to be gone now. George Springer's back in the lineup, so I can't make any phone calls to him anymore. So we'll get after the Yankee fans. But it's certainly amazing. You're looking tonight, again, as I preface this, one of the smallest ballparks in the history of mankind, absolute red-hot hitting conditions. But when you look at the Yankees lineup, weighted on base average this year versus lefties, one player, Aaron Judge, has a 435, which is elevated. The rest of the lineup is utter it looks like the Detroit Tigers lineup that we laugh at every single night. How did the Yankees get so bad at this point right now? They're not going to wake up the rest of the season. Even when you're looking at some of the futures market, let me just see where the Yankees are coming in, and we can all get a pretty good laugh here. To win the league, which means to win the AL, they finally dropped back into 5th place at plus 700. 2 nights ago, even though they got swept by the Red Sox, they were still in 4th place odds-wise to win the AL. Are you kidding? They can't probably not even going to finish 4th place in the AL East at this point, but that Yankees tax and that Yankees money, the Yankees going to wake up sooner or later, bro. You're going to miss out on it. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Yankees for the remainder of the season, but certainly not touching them tonight. 905, 906, another New York team, McGill on the mound. How about this one, Jason, versus Morton? Yeah. 155s to 166s across the board. 8.5s have turned into 9s in this one. And I got to tell you, looking at the Mets, they almost got to their team total yesterday. We're able to come up a little bit short. But is it maybe in the water in New York? These lineups are horrendous. How do you trust them, Jason?
Yeah, you don't. Charlie Morton, been the much better pitcher. He's basically the Braves ace now at this point. And McGill obviously had 1 start. Wasn't terrible, kept the Mets in the game, and actually ended up winning that game with the Mets. He didn't go the 5 innings, but did enough to get that win there. But, I still think Morton should be able to shut down this Mets lineup. And like you said, the Mets lineup has not been very good. Right now, their power hitter in Pete Alonso has the highest average of the team. You don't really expect that coming into the season with your power bat having the best average in baseball on the Mets, not in baseball, on the Mets. So, yeah, I like the Braves here. Braves over 4.5 on the team total. Think they can get to McGill early. The bullpen's good, so you got to be a little bit careful. So maybe you go Braves minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 130 here. But again, McGill, he didn't really fold until late in the game. Well, I think it was in the 5th inning where he did fold. So it would still be in the first 5 innings, but just know that, he was able to go through 4 innings and pitch well in his first start, did enough to help the Mets win. But Morton's been really good. He's been really good recently. Should continue doing that in this game against the Mets, who their offense is really non-existent against starters right now.
Mets still hanging around here in first place, but obviously the Washington Nationals on fire here and coming up, with a charge there. The Phillies are just dead in the water. They're not going to be any significance. They haven't been any significance for a couple weeks now in the NL East. But I want to ask you this question, Jason, because Lindor got a $300 million contract. And usually there's a honeymoon period that you have where, like, even if the guy struggles a little bit to start, they're pedigree players and they usually pick it up. You could argue to say that he should be the 8-hole hitter right now on that Mets lineup, making $300 million. I know they have enormous pockets up there, but yes, the Mets are in first place. So you're trying to cheer on as a fan saying, come on, Lindor. But sooner or later, if the Mets maybe slip up a little bit, Washington takes the lead and those crowds increase at Citi Field, I'm pretty sure he's already hearing it right now, Jason. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, he's obviously pressing at this point. When you hear the boos and things start getting tough, you start pressing and you start swinging at things that you shouldn't be swinging at, and that's what he's doing right now. He's swinging at balls, trying to be the hero, and that's not going to get the job done. So he's pressing right now. He's still there. He's still talented, but he's trying too hard, and that's why he's struggling. So eventually he'll be back. This might just be an off year, and he can get comfortable next year. It is what it is, but thankfully he still has some leadership that he's given the Mets, and his fielding has been pretty good outside one little error that he had, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? But overall, he's going to be a good asset to this team. It's just right now he is, struggling, pressing too hard, trying to please everyone, and it's taking a toll on him for sure.
Please him here. And by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about this game because one of the team totals, Kyle, that I thought might have made some sense was the Atlanta Braves, 4.5 minus 115 at BetMGM, which is a legitimate number here. McGill, not really a pedigree pitcher. But then again, I look back and say, what is wrong with this lineup that supposedly looks so good? Marcell Ozuna getting suspended and thrown out. All right, maybe that was a little bit of a chunk out of the middle of that lineup. But the numbers still produce. But when you look at the overall runs here, let's go over the past couple games. 4 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run, 1 run. What is going on with the Atlanta lineup, Kyle?
It's a little bit concerning, for sure.
Man.
But really, I kind of want to bag on the Mets lineup just for 1 second. Now they've played about 3 or 4. They've played about 3 or 4 fewer games in these teams, obviously because they had that early season stuff. But let's look at the basement dwellers in every division. The Orioles, 315 runs this year. The Royals, 318. The Rangers, 319. The Marlins, 301. The Pittsburgh Pirates, 275, the only one close. And the Diamondbacks, who we just made fun of here handily, 336. The New York Mets have scored 266 runs this year. It's absolutely pathetic. I'm sorry. It's just pathetic. I do expect the Braves lineup to heat up here shortly. But first of all, let me deal with this clown playtime. First of all, it was your little boyfriend, Jimmy, who liked the Tigers. None of us like that. We went 3-1 on the show. Go back to mommy's basement. You're just pathetic out there. I'm just sick and tired of seeing your damn name. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and block you right now. Now, moving on to this game. I think this is one of the better value plays on the card today. Actually, I can see myself ordering some Chipotle. Morton, exponentially better than McGill here, and he's actually pitched very, very well against the Mets. His last 3 starts, his fantasy totals of 42, 43, and 64. You're getting the Braves minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings at minus 125. I do expect the Braves to come out and hit McGill tonight, and I just don't see the Mets doing anything off of Morton. That number's under 140, which really surprised me. I thought this was going to be one of these Astros numbers, minus 195. I like Morton in those first 5 innings. I think the Braves can score on McGill. Give me the Braves for some Taco Bell Chipotle money, minus 0.5 at minus 125.
Yeah, decent hitting weather down there tonight. Wind's blowing in a little bit, 4 to 5 miles an hour. Shouldn't be any, real difference here. 80 degrees at first pitch. When you look at both of the lineups, if we're going back to like last year, like, man, sign me up for the over in this game. But neither one of these lineups really producing at this point. You're sort of going on a hunch. And as we like to say, if you think something is going to happen, you're probably going to take more money out of your wallet that's not going to be replaced back into it. We'll see how it plays out tonight in Atlanta. Late night game. It's been a really good series here. Really good, West Coast divisional round, as we like to say, between the San Francisco and the Dodgers. Gausman and Buehler back on the mound, 7.5s across the board. You look at both of these lineups, they are really good, but it seems like the pedigree pitching is stepping up to the plate here. It's hard to go when you look at the lineups. It's hard to go into the 7.5, but the more you look at it, it does make sense here, Jason, that the under should be the play here out in Chavez Ravine.
Yeah, but then again, you see the Dodgers over 3.5 on the team total at -120. And you guys, we're always on the same page when it comes to that team launch angle. And you look at their stats throughout the entire season against righties. I mean, the entire lineup is all green when you look at it. 224 ISO, 358 weighted OBA, striking out, about 20%, but also walking 10.4%. I mean, if I was going to make a pick in this game, and I'm not going to because it's two aces on the mound, two great pitchers, the Dodgers over 3.5 on the team total seems like the play here. And again, it's not the greatest play. It's not my best bet, but I mean, this is the Dodgers lineup. They've hit Phil well. They walk a ton. And Gausman, yeah, he's had a terrific season, but do you really think that lasts this entire season? I really don't. So we'll see what happens. But I think Dodgers over 3.5 team total at -120. There's just too much value there.
Yeah, and also when you take a look, too, sometimes we get some of those cooler weather conditions at night in L.A. I don't think that's going to be the case, and it was looking earlier. Let me just slide down. 78 degrees with a slight wind blowing out to dead center field, so that should help. But we've had some good conditions before out there. We'll see what holds up in and out. These games sometimes in the division tend to go a little bit lower. Kyle, any thoughts on this game? Because when you look at it, Jason is correct. Both of the lineups look really good, but the pitching seems to be holding up for both of these teams.
Yeah, this one's tough, right? And if people love those no-runs first innings, this could be one of those spots. Two really, really good right-handed pitchers. Now, for me, the Dodgers lineup does profile a little bit better. When you sort of look at their 3-year averages, when you go up and down the lineup here, you've got advantages of 18%, and Mookie Betts 15 of 43 with 3 home runs lifetime off of Gausman. 5%, another 50, 13, 65. It just looks a little bit better. I don't mind the spot taking the under. Let me look at the total runs it's changed. Under 3.5 runs in the first 5 innings at +100 if you're looking for a little plus money spot. I think both these pitchers can come out and deal, sort of handle business here. I like the under in this game just a little bit. For me, I stayed away. 2 really good pitchers against, especially that Dodgers lineup can be really unpredictable. They should hit everybody. I mean, they have 2 starting lineups, for Christ's sakes, on that team. But against these Giants, they tend to be, even last night it was a 3-2 game, really, really close, low-scoring game. You could see that again. But I would lean the Dodgers here. I do think they profile just slightly better than the Giants do off of Buehler, but not enough for me to make anything official or, put a unit or a half unit on it. I would just lean that way. But if this is a game, you're up late, you love the Giants and the Dodgers, especially out here on the West Coast, I would lean the Dodgers here. I'll take them in the first 5 innings as well.
You got it. See, it'll be an interesting game if you are up late at night watching that one come into play. But let's get some of the value menu wagers on the card today. Yesterday, I had a winner on the value menu with the Houston Astros scoring 2 in the 7th and 3 in the bottom of the 9th. So, again, there's no clock on there. It's never over till it's over, and we know how bad that Baltimore bullpen is. So you know what we're going to do today? I'm coming right back down to you, H-Town, and we're going to go with the 5.5 -135 at BetMGM here. I think they get 6 runs. It's going to be another bullpen game here as we line up with Lakins on the mound, 5.37 xFIP here. He's not going to go long in this game, but then you don't hand it off to a, decent bullpen overall. You're only probably going to get 8 at-bats. You got 9 last night, and you actually needed the 9 at-bats. I doubt Houston loses again, but I do think they can light this kid up over the first 3 to 4 innings, pick up 2 to 3 runs, and then just try to piecemeal it together as they go later. 6 runs or more coming tonight for Houston. I'm going with them as my value menu wager at 5.5 here at BetMGM. What do you think of, Jason, on your value menu card tonight?
Yeah, so I'm going to be on the Indians over 4.5 on the team total. The juice a little bit high at -140 as the value play. One of the reasons why it's a value play instead of an official play, Urena actually has done solid against the Indians recently. He hasn't allowed big amount of runs, but he still has been in trouble in both games and probably could have allowed more runs than he did. Well, now in this month of June, he's been awful. It's been so bad for him throughout the entire month, and low case lefties, high walks to both sides of the plate. He does get solid amount of grounders, but also allows a ton of hard contact. Then you look at his last 3 starts, the Tigers have allowed the opposition to score 15 runs, 11 runs, and 12 runs. So he's also allowed 24 runs in 14.2 innings pitched. He's been awful. The Indians look hot. They're coming off a big win against the Tigers yesterday, scoring a bunch of runs and scoring in every inning but 2 of them. So I like the Indians in this spot against the Tigers and Urena in the bullpen. So I'm going to take the over 4.5 on the team total at -140 as the value play.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense in that set. There's going to be a little bit of rain, but it's warm conditions. And again, if Urena gets knocked out, it's not as if, Jason, they handed, oh, no, here comes the Detroit bullpen. They're going to lock it. They ain't locking anything down in that game. Yeah. Probably get more of the same from what you saw last night. Kyle, what are you looking at tonight for some value menu wagers tonight on your card?
Okay, well, we just discussed the Braves, and I do like them -0.5 in the first 5 at -125. There is one more value play I like. I talked about there were 2+ money spots that I liked on this card. The other one I'm looking at that Washington-Tampa Bay game. Rich Hill's been very, very good for Tampa Bay. In fact, it's the lowest adjusted 3-year OPS against an opposing lineup on today's card from my 3-year sample size. Then you got Joe Ross, who, Washington loves to throw this guy in the 8-hole. And, of course, this game is in Washington, so Tampa Bay's pitchers are going to have to hit. And Joe Ross has actually proven himself to be a fairly competent hitter. As a pitcher, he's drove in a few runs, has a few hits. But Joe Ross is really, really bad. Now, he has these wild swings, right, where he goes out, throws 7 shutout innings, puts up 55 fantasy points, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Then he comes out in his next start, can't even get out of the first inning. Tampa Bay's lineup profiles very, very well. You're looking at +110 on the money line in the first 5 innings. They're a better team overall. I think they have the better pitcher. Their lineup profile's better. So I'll take the Rays as well, +110 on the money line in the first 5 innings. When you go up and down this order, advantages of 12, 24, 4, 34, 13, and 94%. I hate the Tampa Bay Rays, probably one of my least favorite teams in all of professional sports, but I think Rich Hill gets it done against Joe Ross, and I'll take the Rays for plus money in the first 5 as well.
Yeah, heat and humidity in that game as well on the East Coast, and that's why I wanted to take advantage of here. Let's move on to best bets on the Major League Baseball card after getting stunted on Friday night. Thank you, Cardinals, for not scoring over the last 5 innings of that game versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Neither here nor there. We picked up some good money over the weekend, won some money yesterday. Now it's time to drop the hammer, and I'm not going to give up here. I wanted to make sure I'm looking at the East Coast games tonight with the heat and humidity, wind conditions blowing out, and I settled on the game that makes sense because Houston was close on my card, but as we know, Houston fans, if it's 80 degrees, a little too hot for them to actually sit out, but that's okay. The East Coast teams like Boston, they'll sit out tonight in 90-degree plus weather. The Yankees fans, they'll sit out in 90-plus degree weather. There's no air conditioning here up on the East Coast where when it gets to 80 degrees, we don't want to go out to the ballpark tonight. Let's take a look at Boston tonight. Same conditions we had last night. Mid-90s at first pitch. Wind blowing dead out. Also, let's take a look at Keller. Now, these are the things that handicappers are now starting to look at that make the most sense. Take a lot of stuff with a grain of salt here before that, like June 5th, June 7th, June 8th, before Major League Baseball said the jig is up, you guys, on the mound. We are coming for you. If you're cheating, we will find you. Let's take a look at Keller on the mound since his June 9th start. 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Next start from the 14th, 5 innings, 6 earned runs. Next start against Boston, who he's facing again tonight. 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Let's take a look at the Yankees. You can't get anybody. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. So you're going to tell me before that you were a very good pitcher, but after Major League Baseball said you can't doctor the baseball, you are getting lit up. Take a look at the Red Sox over the last 2 games at home now in this heat and humidity. 8 total home runs. They are going to do it again tonight. I don't think Keller's a great pedigree pitcher. You don't have a great bullpen. Winds are blowing out. I would love to have a running mate tonight with the Kansas City Royals to sort of push the game higher. Yesterday, 6-5. That would cash your ticket. Tonight, best bet and banker on my card, the Boston Red Sox 5.5, -120. That is my play of the day. I'm going with the heat and humidity. Let's wrap this bad boy up by the 6th inning and party the rest of the night. Jason, where's your best bets at tonight?
Yeah, look, I'm on over 5.5 in the first 5 innings. Got it at -117. I'm seeing around -125 now for that same game, the Royals and Red Sox, but I'm on the over 5.5 in the first 5 innings. You touched on it with the Red Sox. Obviously, the weather, big factor. The offense should do really well against Keller. Pivetta, he's coming off one of his best start of the entire season. He allowed no hits in 6.2 innings pitched. He looked great, but throughout the entire season, he has not looked great at all. Lots of low ground balls, gives up lots of power to righties. Obviously, that Royals lineup has plenty of guys that are capable of high power in that lineup. So they're consistent, but they're going to get the job done against Pivetta. Every single time Pivetta has a shutout, he actually allows 3 runs or more on the season per game after that. He's also in outside of 3 games that he's pitched all year long, he's allowed multiple runs in each game. So 2 or more runs in every game, but 3 this entire season. Two of the games that he shut out a team, they were against the Rays. He has a Rays number, and then he shut down the Mets, who they had a AAA lineup at that time. So he just has the Rays number, beat up a AAA team in the Mets, and then everyone else, he's allowed 2 or more runs in every single start. So like Donnie said, he'll cash his Red Sox ticket by the 5th or 6th inning. The Royals will also score some runs and will easily cash this over 5.5 in the first 5, and we'll be on our way to another win. Both you and I at the same damn time.
Damn right. I mean, I'm not wasting this weather conditions, and there's some other spots in Major League Baseball that I like, but anytime you get a chance in these tiny, tiny ballparks where you get 90-plus degree weather and the wind blowing out, you got to take advantage of them. Kyle, where are you looking at tonight on your best bets and bankers?
I'm going to go back to the fade of Fulton Fadich right here. And I know last time his last 2 starts against Oakland, he's pitched very, very well. But look at the 4 starts before that: 15, -10, 2, 25. I'm not going to bag him too much because I don't want to jinx it. And then you got Caprillion on the mound for the A's, who outside of that debut where he was rocked a little bit has been really, really solid. Wasn't perfect in that Rangers game. It was actually the same 2 starters, and Fulton Fadich got just a little bit better of him. That A's lineup profile is so much better for me tonight. We're looking at 3-year averages here of 55, 10, 22, 31, 53, 36, and 35. I think the A's get it done here. I'm going to focus on that first 5 innings. Again, -0.5 in the first 5 innings, -135. I don't even mind a sprinkle on that over 4.5 team total for the A's as well. That bullpen for the Rangers is also bad. I think Fulton Fadich comes back to reality tonight. The A's get it done. My play of the day, A's -0.5 in the first 5, -135. Let's go.
All right, let's go around the odds lightning round. Got a big card tonight to take a look at. I got to say, the first game we'll start with here, 9:01, 9:02, 7:05 start here in Philadelphia. I was very close to taking the Miami Marlins in this game on the team total. Same theme, 94 degrees with a wind blowing out in a tiny ballpark in Philadelphia. But then I sort of look at that Miami offense and like, boy, man, all right. Hey, can they get it done? I guess they can get it done because it's Velasquez and the Phillies bullpen on the line. But it doesn't look all that great. And also, you like to get a running mate. Can the Phillies hit tonight? Maybe they can, but Rogers has been such a good pitcher from the left-hand side. If he holds those bats down, maybe you're not looking at all that pressure. 9s across the board with a basically pick 'em on either side. I can't trust the Phillies at this point, and I was very close to the Marlins, but I need a little bit more out of that lineup to show me that, hey, outside of like Jesus Aguilar, Jazz Chisholm, everybody else looks like, AA players at this point, Jason.
Yeah, look, I agree with you here. I would lean towards the Marlins over 3.5 on the team total. This was that juice of -160, so you have to pay the juice on that one. Of course, I'm not actually playing this, but you look at this Marlins offense, they do have a lot of power in the lineup. Capable guys, Chisholm, Marte, Aguilar, Duvall, Sanchez. He's been really looking pretty good since coming up, who I've liked and really enjoyed watching. He's got a sweet swing. They got some power in that lineup, and obviously Velasquez not been great against righties with a high ISO, even high ISO against lefties. And we know what the Phillies bullpen is capable of, especially in the 9th inning, like some of you guys already spoke about in the chat. So, like you said, though, the Phillies, they have hit lefties pretty well this season. They're getting on base against lefties, although Rogers has been really good throughout the entire season. So do I think the Phillies can score some runs too? Yeah, I think so too. The 9 seems like a pretty solid number, especially with the weather being in favor of the hitters. 9 is not a terrible number. Maybe go down, take that 8.5, and then win with a 9. You can look at that. But either way, I think you'd be crazy to take an under in this game, even with Rogers on the mound.
Yeah, I see you here, and also in the chat box it says Donnie or somebody asking if you only take team totals. That's all I take. I mean, I don't see any value at all for taking a side any way, shape, or form. I mean, imagine taking a team total. You could shut the game off in the 4th inning. When you have a game, where you're taking a side, you can never shut it off. You're sweating right down to the end. You have no idea who's going to be pitching the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. No idea who the pinch hitters will be. It's not for me at this point. I found a real rhythm in team totals for the last 2 years that I've annihilated them. When I open up my odds book in the morning, I don't care who's favored or not. I don't care who wins. Hey, you're going to take that team at minus 400? No, I'm going to take them on the team total at minus 125 and enjoy a nice, easy victory as opposed to sweating out games like last night, like the Astros. Astros win easy. Throw them in a parlay. What, are you kidding me? Take the team total. Live a little bit. Have some fun here. Let's keep it moving down the list as we go down here. Taking a look, Tampa Bay and Washington, we are, I know your thoughts on this game here, Kyle. Heat and humidity on the East Coast here. The lineup does look good, but when I take a look at Joe Ross, you're right. He does have a lot of Jekyll and Hyde in him, but when we take a look at his home starts here, you're trying to portray and say what he's going to do and how he's going to play it out. Pitched very well against Miami in Miami, an ultimate pitcher's ballpark. Gave up 5 runs against the Mets at home, but before that, no earned runs. Then before that, 4 earned runs. So you're trying to catch one of these games that makes sense.
Right.
Tampa, not really a great hitting team, but they do look decent today against Joe Ross. And again, we're not dealing with 5.5 for them. Basically 4.5, 4 you're going to catch a ticket here with a team total.
Yeah, exactly. And really, I just kind of like what Rich Hill's been doing this year. Now, I know like the last 3 starts have been sort of mediocre, especially the 2 before the last one. But when you just sort of if you look at the weighted 3-year OPS here, again, this is a weighted over the last 3 years, the Nationals lineup, a .560 weighted OPS. It's one of the lowest on the board, or it is the lowest on the board, as a matter of fact. You look at Joe Ross, a 707. I know the Nationals have been hot. They've been playing better lately, 7-3 in their last 10 games. This just feels, and to flip on the flip side of that, Tampa Bay's been going the other way, 4-6 in their last 10 games. Just feels like a spot where I'm going to take the slight pitching advantage here. I'm going to hope for that Hyde out of Joe Ross. There's a whole lot more Jekyll and Hyde in Joe Ross than there is in Rich Hill this year. I'm going to count on that, and I think their lineup profile is better. I talked about all the advantages, so I'm going to take the Rays at plus money in the first 5 innings. And you sort of touched on it. I'm with you. I like team totals. I will take sides in the first 5 innings because I don't want to deal with those bullpens, and I like to get it over with early. When I see I have a clear pitching advantage, in my opinion, a clear pitching advantage, I'll take it in those first 5 innings, rely on the starters. So I like the Rays. Plus 110 in the first 5 innings on the money line. And if they tie, it's a push. You lose nothing. So, yeah, give me the Rays on that money line in the first 5 innings. I'll take Hill over Ross.
All right, let's keep moving down here the list. Toronto, the one interesting game in the northeast quadrant of the United States that's not participating tonight. It's 73 degrees at first pitch and some rain is up at Salem Field, which is a shame because you would figure the ball would fly out of there if you got some 90-degree nights. And you have a decent lineup here, obviously, with Toronto. But here's the issue. Flexen isn't all that bad. At the numbers I like, he's got a 101 xFIP minus, which is rate average. ERA of 3.87. 5.5 as a team total for Toronto seemed a little bit high for me. Do I still think Toronto's going to win? Sure, I do. They're minus 240 to minus 230 favorites across the board. But it was enough to pull me off here with the weather conditions and overall with Flexen. Because also keep in mind, this is no longer that Seattle team that maybe was dumpy the past couple of years when you hand it off to the bullpen. I know they're looking at one of their better guys, possibly with a suspension. But Seattle Mariners have a really good bullpen. That's not when you say, hey, hand it off to Flexen and you can tack on. Not really the case in this spot. Any looks here in this game tonight, Jason, when you look at Seattle and Toronto?
You know what's kind of crazy? The Mariners have one more win than the Blue Jays right now. As we speak, the Mariners have more wins than the Blue Jays. I find that intriguing. But either way, look, Flexen, he hasn't been great against righties this season. If you look at, he has a weighted OBA 341, ISO 172, and obviously you go to this lineup for the Blue Jays and you're going to get a bunch of righties in the lineup that could hit the ball hard, put the ball in play, and Flexen allowing nearly 45% hard contact, not going to strike out many batters. But then again, like you said, like the weather is not perfect, although the ballpark is kind of perfect for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it is.
So I do like the Blue Jays more. Robbie Ray on the mound, he's been excellent this year. He's limited the walks like he never did before. And, he'll still allow a home run or two. And so there's guys in the lineup from the right-handed side that could, do damage. Haniger, Murphy, Torrens, Moore. These guys all could have could hit a homer in this game, have potential there. But you don't really trust more than one of those guys to hit one. So I think the Blue Jays minus 0.5 in the first 5 is the way to go at around minus 155. Again, the juice is high. But, you can also go look at the over 5.5 team total at minus 110, but not the best weather in the first place. And Flexen has kind of found a way out of trouble. And then, like Donnie said, the bullpen really hasn't been bad. Graveman kind of taking over that closer role. He's been really good. So I'd be careful with this game. Not the best play. out there, but the Blue Jays would still be the winners in my book.
Yeah, no, they should do well tonight. It was just a little bit more expensive to me, and also, as we like to say, Jason, you need a running mate. I don't know how much of a running mate you're going to get out of Seattle tonight, so we'll see how it turns out. But it is a small ballpark. It's a potent lineup. When I just look at the numbers here, I thought there were better plays on the card, even though I did have that circled as one of my 7 plays that I wanted to try to and do a little bit of a deeper dive to see if there's any value for me on Toronto, which I really couldn't find too much of. Keep moving down the list here, Kyle, coming to you. Cincinnati and San Diego. Cincinnati absolutely annihilated the Phillies bullpen from the 7th inning on, which mostly teams do. Unless the Phillies have a 3 or 4 run lead in the 7th, look for those team totals. They're definitely going to give up some runs. Snell versus Santillan tonight, which looks like a pitching matchup. Snell hasn't been all that great this year, but Santillan also with a ultra high, xFIP 5.54. You take a look at a Sierra number, not too bad at 4.70, but the number that I love to look at, ERA minus, or excuse me, xFIP minus, which deals with ballparks, he's the worst. He's number 29th on my card today. He should get hit in this environment. Also had the Reds circled as a possible team total, San Diego as a possible team total at 5.5 in this one. Matches up well, Kyle. What are you looking at from this game?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I actually think both lineups profile pretty well. I have a ton of exposure to both of them in terms of DFS. Didn't find a ton of value. I almost considered the Padres in the first 5 innings, but Blake Snell, I just don't think Blake Snell's been good at all. I mean, Kyle Freeland's been better in his last 2 starts than Blake Snell, for Christ's sake. It's really hard. Seriously. And think about that yesterday, 2-0 in that Pirates-Rockies game with Freeland and Anderson on the mound. Baseball is absolutely wild right now. It's just tough for me. I do like both team totals. You got the Reds over 4.5, the Padres over 5.5. For me, I stayed the hell away from this game. I don't trust either team. Thankfully, the Reds came through with that team total last night. I did have a little sprinkle on the Fernando Tatis home run prop. He has a really nice advantage tonight. Both lineups look really, really well if you want to use. There should be runs in this game. The problem is that total's sitting at 10. Who wants to bet an over 10, holding the bag in Major League Baseball right now? I will say Fernando Tatis's last 5 games against the Reds, nothing less than 22 fantasy points. I like that home run prop for Tatis. I do like both teams' team total. Impossible. If I'm picking a side for the full game, I'll take the Padres simply because they actually have an elite, very, very competent bullpen. That Cincinnati Reds bullpen, far from competent, one of the worst in the league. So if you want, I don't ever bet full games, full sides. I don't like to recommend it. But I will say,
here you are recommending it.
I slightly lean the Padres in the full game here, but I don't like Snell very much. I don't like Santillan very much. Both lineups should be able to hit. Load them up in DFS, and if you want to bet this game, take some team totals or maybe even take the over in the first 5 innings.
Yeah, it looks like a decent one here. Thanks, guys. Over 350 people watching out in the chat box. Love and support. Always is strong from our members in the chat box today as we keep moving down this Major League Baseball card on the odds lightning round, trying to find some of these games, uncover some gems that we may have missed. 9-19, 9-20, Detroit and Cleveland. I know, Kyle, Jason, you talked about this game already. I'm with you on this, but this is one of those games where you take a look at, you have to take a little bit of leap of faith that Cleveland is still going to wake up, but you do have very good hitting conditions in this game, even if there are some rain delays here. It's not as if you're going, oh man, Bundy's out of the game. What are we going to do? No. Everybody's bad on Detroit when they come into the game, it seems like. I do think Cleveland's going to stack left-handed batters. They should be able to hit. And how do you know Cleveland's going to hit? They're 196 at home at FanDuel. Just listen, they better be scoring some runs here at 9.5 across the board. Detroit also maybe can participate, but Cleveland should win this game and they should get their team total. Jason, quick thoughts once again on this game tonight.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Yeah. We got some noise outside, if you guys know what I mean.
Oh, I wonder what's happening.
Anyway, Urena obviously has been awful. Recently, the Tigers bullpen, not the best bullpen in the league by far. They've allowed 15, 11, 12 runs in their last 3 games when Urena is on the mound. That totals to 38 runs in 3 games. The Indians just scored 13 runs in their last game. Their offense starting to figure it out just a little bit. Urena looks terrible. Strikeouts are low. So everything kind of points to the Indians over 4.5 on the team total. It's my value play at -140, and that's what I'm going to stick with.
Value. And yes, the lineup is out here. And Christian Larson says Noah Rosarena for the Rangers tonight. For the Rays tonight. Looks like Lowe, Choi, Franco, Meadows, Wendell, Kiermaier, Zunino, Hill, and Phillips on the mound. So keep in mind they are going to a National League ballpark. A little bit different for them, but we'll see how it works out in this. And also for the Red Sox lineup tonight, Kike Hernandez, Verdugo, Martinez, Bogart, Devers, Renfroe, Vasquez, Santana, full go lineup there for the Boston Red Sox, as I hope they get after it. We're going to skip over that Boston Red Sox game. You guys know my feelings on this one. I'm sure Kyle's not going to be like, hey, I love the minus 225 on the money line, but we also looking for some runs in this game. So let's skip it down here and break up the Milwaukee Brewers here. Best team in the NL Central to me? Absolutely. The lineup doesn't look that strong, but they just need to get some key hits. By far in this division to me, best frontline pitching, also combined with a dominant bullpen on the back end here. And we see a heavy price, minus 245 here in New Jersey, minus 220 offshore. Davies should get rocked. Whether Milwaukee does that or not, Woodruff's probably going to pace the Chicago Cubs team here.
Yeah, and well, I don't trust Milwaukee to rock anybody. First of all, I just don't trust that lineup to rock anyone. And Davies has been pretty good. I mean, you look, he's been very, very solid outside of one bad start where he got rocked late in that game in the 5th or 6th inning a couple starts ago. Other than that, pretty solid performances here. And I saw a lot of people in the chat box early saying Cubs money line could be a value spot. Here's the problem for me taking the Cubs on the road. Of all the teams in Major League Baseball with a 500 record or better, the Chicago Cubs are the worst road team of all of them. 16-24 on the road, just slightly better than Jason's Mets, who are 16-23 on the road. So it's hard to trust the Cubs on the road. The number is way too juiced no matter where you look at it. Even minus 0.5 in the first 5 is minus 165. This could be an interesting no-runs first inning spot if you're looking for a nerfy. Woodruff and Davies should be able to get out of that first inning. But there's no way I'm backing the Cubs on the road, and there's no way I'm betting the Brewers at minus 165, minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 270 on the money line first 5, minus 220 full game. No thank you, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you. Complete stay away game unless you want to do a little sprinkle on that no runs first inning.
By the way, I was actually giving Hector Santiago, the reliever for the Seattle Mariners, the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, he's not that stupid. He's probably like, it's a hot day, a little bit stickier with the rosin. No, he's been suspended 10 games because he did doctor the baseball. So when you see a guy like that in the Seattle bullpen, like, I don't really hear about this guy, but boy, he's got really good numbers. It's a good reason for it today. It makes my day here. And the people out there, again, I will say, I don't like when they check them. I love when they check them out because you are seeing offenses increase exponentially because pitchers can't cheat. Yep. Welcome back. Baseball's back in our life. It's fantastic stuff here. Let's keep going down the list before we get out of here. A couple more games on the card tonight. Coming to you, Jason. Minnesota and the Chicago White Sox. Giolito and Maeda on the mound. Minus 128s offshore. Minus 138s here in New Jersey. 8s to 8.5s across the board. How are we looking at this game? Any thoughts between the Twins and the White Sox?
Yeah, so this was the game that was supposed to happen yesterday. We talked about it yesterday, how we like the over in this game. I don't know if we talked about it, actually, because it was the rain. But either way, Giolito, he struggled a bit against righties because has kind of a very high ISO against righties. As I have to shout a little bit now. But, yeah, Giolito not very good. 275 ISO, weighted OBA 333 to righties. So, look, he has his great days and he has his bad days. But the Twins, they do have a lineup that is obviously capable of solid offense with Donaldson there, Cruz there. So they got guys in there that could, get hit from the right side. Then you look at, Maeda. Since his return, 3 earned runs and 9.1 innings pitched. Looks better than he did before he got injured. But we'll see how long that lasts. Not ready to kind of say, yeah, he's back yet either. So I think we'll see some runs in this game. I think the bullpens both allow some runs later in the game as well. So I'll say the over 8 in this game, but nothing official in this one at all.
All right, we'll skip over Baltimore and Houston. Not much you can really say about another minus 310 here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Minus 290 offshore between Lakins and Urquidy. Should be a win for Houston, but I do want to look at this game here because anytime Carlos Martinez is on the mound, 909, 910 going up against Caleb Smith, the lefty. I mean, Arizona, man, I guess that's the way there's no analysis needed. You just say, well, Arizona, they're playing tonight, and we'll see what happens because everybody should be able to get hits against Martinez. We'll see which team shows up, and maybe it's just as simple as Ketel Marte is not in the lineup. You don't want anything to do with that team. Kyle, talk about it tonight. 9s across the board, 2 pitchers that should be hit, some good hitting conditions, but then again, it's Arizona.
That's the problem. So all the numbers, I'm starting with pitchers here. Dr. K here, Caleb. That's what they used to call him down in Miami. Dr. K, Caleb Smith, which is a stupid nickname. It's like calling Paul George Playoff P outside of last night. Absolutely silly.
Big game last night, maybe money.
Big game last night. A big game for him and really good for his confidence. If they can pull it all back, he might change the whole narrative about his career. But Caleb Smith profiles so much better against St. Louis than obviously Carlos Martinez does. Now, the last time I bashed the hell out of Carlos Martinez was his best game of the year. Had a no-hitter through 6 innings. But there's no way I'm backing the Diamondbacks. We just talked about that at the beginning of the show. So I'm not going to sit here and do it now. Based on the numbers, they profile way, way better. This game is a 100% run from the hills. Stay the fuck away from this game. The numbers say Arizona, but you can't back Arizona because they're an absolute can of a franchise and an embarrassment to Major League Baseball, an embarrassment to professional sports. But I just can't touch it. I mean, I guess if you're desperate and this is the only game you want to bet, take some plus money on the Diamondbacks, but there's no way in hell I'm recommending that. Caleb Smith, for the record, for FanDuel and DraftKings, 6,600 on DraftKings. If you're looking for a value pitcher that can get you 20 or more points, Caleb Smith could be the guy tonight. A weighted 3-year OPS of .603, the third lowest on today's card.
We'll see, though. His xFIP is just astronomical at this point, though, 5.19. It'll be interesting to see how this game plays out, but you're right. It's a hard one to doctor because, as we use the same term over and over, I want a running man. I don't know if Arizona can hit, even if Martinez walks 7 batters through 5 innings. Somebody still has to drive those batters in. One of the games I actually did not have circled on my card, but the more I look at it from a St. Louis perspective, should they hit? Yes, but they let me down on Friday night, so they're still on my bad list, as we like to say. As we move along here, Pittsburgh and Colorado shake it up yesterday, 2-0. 2-0. As soon as you have the price, see, this is what makes it good, though, because we know when to get in and get out on those Pittsburgh Pirates here, Jason. Steal a game on Sunday, looks good. Monday, like, hey, I'm going to lay off. They get shut out in Colorado. DeJong is going to go against Marquez. Marquez clearly the better pitcher than DeJong, and that's why it's a -180, but a total of 11 across the board. If I'm going to take an under, it's hard to do it out in Coors, but I guess you could factor it in. I don't know, but I don't look at unders overall. But that's a big price here to pay for Colorado at home.
Yeah, look, the Rockies over 5.5 on the team total is likely the best bet in this game if I had to choose. Again, not an official play at all between these two teams, but the Rockies, they are the better team at home. They play a lot better. They perform a lot better, and they'll go up against Chase DeJong, who really hasn't been great at all this season. High weighted OBAs to both sides, high ISO to both sides. Strikeouts are low to lefties. Walks are high to both sides. So he's been, hittable. In the lineup, you'll have Story, you'll have Blackmon, you'll have Tapia, you'll have McMahon, Crone. It's a Rockies lineup that you can at least respect a little bit, especially at home. So I think they can do damage against the Pirates, especially early in this game. So I'd go with the Rockies over 5.5 on the team total, but it's a high number for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
You got it. And by the way, Texas-Oakland, we already got Kyle's thoughts there between Fulton Avich and Caprilli in this one. He does have a banker in this one. So we will leave that off, and that wraps up the entire Major League Baseball card today for a Tuesday. But as we like to do, clearing the bases and making sure we recap so you guys have the plays and the ammunition to get after tonight. I'll start first, a value menu wager for myself. I'm going back to the well. Worked out well last night with the Houston Astros tonight. I'm also going to back them. Same price, 5.5 tonight at BetMGM. But my best bet and banker, also a 5.5 tonight on those Boston Red Sox in the heat and humidity. Would like to wrap this up. Don't make me sweat this one. Let's get 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the fifth. Cruise off into victory as we get that 6th run somewhere before the 7th inning. Should be hot, should be heated, should be some home runs here in Boston. Jason, what are we looking at today? Wrap it up with your best bet bankers and also your value menu wagers.
Yeah, so I'll be on the Indians over 4.5 on the team total. That is going to be at -140. Again, it's just a fade of Jose Urena and the Tigers bullpen for the Indians. Then the official play, the big play of the day, will be the over 5.5 in the first 5 at -117. I think I saw it at -125 now. Shop around, get the best price, but over 5.5 in the first 5 for the Red Sox and Royals game. It's going to be hot. The wind's going to be blowing in center field, and both the lineups really profile well in terms of power, and should see a lot of it today.
There we go. Kyle, what you got, man? Wrap it up. Best bet and bankers and some of that value on your card.
All right, let's start with our best bet. We're going to take the A's -0.5 in the first 5, -135. Caprillion should outduel Fulton Avich. When we get to that value menu, I like that Rays money line in the first 5 at plus 110, one of my favorite plus money spots on the day. I also do like the Braves. I think Morton should be able to get it done today. Minus 125, minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings. Home run props today. Fernando Tatis off Sentien. I'd like it a lot. Nelson Cruz in his career, 9 of 23 off Lucas Giolito. 4 of those 9 hits have gone for home runs, so I also like the home run prop on Nelson Cruz. I like Jason's lawn at minus 185 as the prettiest lawn in New Jersey. Thank you, chat box, for that. And, of course, for an NBA props, everyone likes that. I took Chris Middleton today, over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. If you remember Game 3, he had 38 points alone. He ended up with 56 combined, so it's a number he can easily get to. Did it by 20 in Game 3, so I think he can get there tonight in Game 4 as well.
You got it. As we wrap up here on Tuesday, we always like to look forward a little bit till tomorrow. And I have to say tomorrow, 8:10 p.m., Matt Harvey's on the mound versus that Houston Astros lineup. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of team totals heading in that direction. We'll see how it plays out. But thank you guys for tuning in with us on a Tuesday to go over the entire Major League Baseball card right here at sportsbookreview.com. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the Major League Baseball team at sportsbookreview.com. Thanks for tuning in on a Tuesday. Good luck on those wagers.